In 2016, not only did Concerned Ape release Stardew Valley into the world, but he also introduced blue chickens. And the world just hasn't quite been the same, in a good way, I assure you. And yeah, there are many different types of chickens in the game: white, brown, gold, and of course, blue. Since the speed rooster can't be tamed, it's clear blue chickens are the best option here, and I stand by that. Unless, of course, Concerned Ape lets us get our grubby little hands all over the speed rooster. Then, well, I can't exactly lie, I'd probably pick the speed rooster. But enough talk about the speed rooster, I'm here to focus on blue chickens. More specifically, I want to see how fast, in-game of course, I can obtain one of those blue feathered chicken nugget factories. Yes, I admit I look more like a blue duck than a blue chicken, but I was working with what I had, okay? I am not only trying to get a blue chicken at the end of this, but I am a blue chicken, okay? And word on the street is that I am actually Shane's first blue chicken, or his first attempt at it. Obviously, it was an experiment gone wrong, and to top it off, my name is in fact Shaniac. And not entirely because I'm just a Shane fan. I mean, respectfully, I am a Shane fanatic. He holds a special place in my heart, but I was also inspired by my favorite fast food chain, Raising Cane's. So the name is fitting in more ways than one. Imagine Shane running a Raising Cane's, but the draw isn't the cane sauce, it's the blue chickens, and they're inevitably blue meat. I know that's a lot to take in, but while that simmers, of course, in order to live up to my multifaceted name, I need to get all the way to 8 hearts with Shane, which surprisingly is more controversial than you might think at first, because Shane, my guy, my dude, is a straight up alcoholic. I mean, our girl Pam takes the cake for Stardew alcoholic, but Shane is a close second. He's at least not behind the wheel of a 14-ton death machine. But I won't lie, in all my past playthroughs, I have just given him a beer. I mean, he hangs out right next to the endless supply of beer. What was I expected to do? But I admit it might not be the most ethical option. But hey, in this playthrough, I'm going for speed, not morals here. Luckily, he does love a few other things like peppers, pepper poppers, and pizza. Right off the bat though, I'm gonna have to disregard the peppers and pepper poppers as valid options since they aren't available until summer, and I'm on a time crunch here, so that leaves me with just pizza or beer. And hey, in this economy, I might not be able to afford the spare 200 gold difference for a pizza. Only time will tell, I guess. While I work on becoming friends with Shane, I'm also gonna work on getting my farm ready for my future chicken tenders. Of course, I could start off with the Meadowlands farm and bypass the need to do any of that work whatsoever, but hey, where's the fun in that? Anyway, as I got further into the first day, I made sure to only talk to Shane. He was very resistant to my efforts. He doesn't know this yet, but we're gonna be the best of friends, whether he likes it or not. And really, he should probably not like it because I've dedicated my entire personality to him and his blue chickens. But he's not really sentient enough to realize that. He doesn't see the red flags, I mean blue flags. After Shane sadly wouldn't talk to me while he was on the clock, I think he takes his job a little too seriously. I picked up some spring onions, tended to my humble farm, and then obviously I overexerted myself. Shane, you can't say I'm not trying here. I am working my chicken butt off to provide a stable and welcoming home for some blue chickens. Mother hen of the year over here. I have to say though, there is a downside to my Shane dedication. I wasn't able to speak to my man Linus. Maybe I'm the one who needs a beer to drink my sorrows away. Regardless, I made the long trek to the saloon to finally be able to talk to the man in question. Shane, no last name himself. He's rude, there's no getting past it. Of course, while I was in the area, I looked over Gus's offerings of beer and pizza. I couldn't exactly afford either, but it's really the thought that counts. And so, if I could, I probably would have given Shane a beer just because he can't even remember me, and it's deeply traumatic. Nevertheless, my heart did not turn to ice because I could have saved some of my forage I found for the community. But Shane needs it more, and I need money even more than that, so in the bin they go. And look, I already almost have enough money for baby's first beer. Another day, another opportunity for Shane to obliterate any feelings I have left. I decided to wait to talk to Shane until he clocked out, so I clocked in and went fishing. If I'm not allowing myself to talk to anyone but Shane, unless absolutely necessary, then I'll just have to settle for longingly looking into Linus's eyes as I fish. Linus, just so you know, in another life we'd be great friends. Before I knew it, it was time to say hi to Shane, the bubbles taunting me as I left. I'm a sucker for a good patch of bubbles. Unsurprisingly, Shane was yet again rude to me, and it's suddenly making so much sense why he's drinking all alone, and his only friend is his aunt and a literal child. At least when I went back to fish, the bubbles knew to wait for me, and I just so happened to find a decent amount of forage on my way home, so I'll be finally able to start bribing Shane for his friendship. And wouldn't you know it, I don't just have enough money for one Shane beer, but 2 Shane beers. Might as well give me the option to buy blue chickens right now while we're at it. We are down a soldier in the field. I repeat, we are down a soldier in the field. It's like a punch to the gut. I needed that crop in order to fund my Shane's gifts and build a supply for a coop. To make myself feel even worse, for the hell of it, I went searching for catfish. And I fear I have bad luck, but when you're around Shane as much as I am and am going to be, it always feels like a bad luck day, doesn't it? Anyway, we don't need to talk about the fact I'm certain a catfish escapes my clutches several times in fact. And oh, is that treasure I see slipping through my fingers? Great, I can't wait to see Shane. I'm sure he'll cheer me up. On the bright side though, misery does love company, so I think I'll fit in just fine. I decided to fork over the money and bought both Shane and me a beer. Just 2 butts drinking 6 feet apart because Shane still denies that we're friends, but I know in my heart we are, even if I have nothing positive to say about him at the moment. You know, Morris doesn't seem to mind the day drinking, so I'm really starting to feel like Shane doesn't talk to me while he's working simply because he's got some deep-seated issues. In my tipsy state, I went back to fishing just for the off chance that maybe I'll slip and fall into the water. I mean, it's not like I'm already not soaking wet from all the rain, and look at that, catfish baby. To be honest with you, I think this is a sign giving Shane a beer was in fact a good idea and not just me enabling his toxic behaviors. And yeah, bad luck stood no chance against me and my raw skills. I bagged another catfish while also picking up some lame treasure. We don't need to talk about that. 3 catfish would have simply been too much to ask for, so I took that as a sign and headed to bed, dreaming of Shane. With my priorities straight, I spent some time sourcing materials for my coop, and I even headed over to Robin's to make sure I knew how many supplies to gather. Yes, I could have simply just looked it up on the wiki, but trust me, this way is more fun. And yes, I could have also used my actual official Stardew Valley guidebook, but there's no Control F unfortunately, so to Robin's it was. I ended up picking up a Help Wanted quest because I did want to get a Stardrop tea as soon as possible. And now that I have time to reflect on it, I really didn't need to complete any of them that didn't actually reward me with a prize ticket, but I'm an overachiever, what can I say? By the way, you just know it's a good luck day when you find bread in the trash. Since I was feeling lucky, rich, and a little giving, the trifecta, I bought Shane a pizza instead of a beer. While he won't drink himself into oblivion because of me, he just might eat his way there. We still have no hearts, so I don't know what his deal is. He should be happy with all the food I gave him. I mean, it's free food, come on! For some reason, he talked to me this day after work, and whoa, what a surprise Shane was. He's always keeping me on my toes. No matter what you're doing, you have to accept a cat if it's offered to you, and this is not an exception. I don't make the rules, I just gladly follow them. The mines opened, and I was faced with the age-old question, to go or not to go? I mean, I didn't have to, but I could. I didn't need to, but I could. And Look, I got the quest to build a coop. All the stars are aligning. And this fact was proven even more when I decided to shake things up and visit Shane before work. And look, we have 1 heart, only 7 more of those to go. After a busy day fending for my life in the mines, I wanted to celebrate our 1 heart anniversary together. And Shane was not having it because he was giving me the silent treatment. You just never know what to expect with him, honestly. Who needs coffee to wake you up when you can get a dose of pessimism in the morning from Shane? He's still as rude as ever, even on the weekend, and he's staring at the microwave. I'm sure he's frying his brain in the process, but that's Harvey's problem to deal with. I'm just here for the blue chickens. And let me say, I am usually a Sebastian fan, but he saw me digging through the trash as any respectable person would do, and he was straight up rude, taking a page right out of Shane's playbook. I don't even know this man, and he had the audacity to judge me. Sebastian, your time is limited. And it stayed doom and gloom as I handed in a quest to Lewis and unfortunately was not handed a prize ticket as a reward. Friendly PSA, don't forget to pet your cats. I don't care what your playstyle is, but it's rude not to. And I mean, do you really want to be all rude like Shane? Fortunately, it was a new week, so I could start giving Shane gifts again. But the man in question was nowhere to be seen. So instead of talking to Shane, I commissioned Robin to build a coop. And somehow that was a lot easier than I had thought it was gonna be, but that only leaves me with 400 gold, so I really had no choice but to give Shane a beer. I mean, yes, figuratively speaking, I do have 6 other days to give him a gift, but time is of the essence. This is a race, not a walk. But deep down, I knew I was better than that. I was letting the dreary weather get to me, so I quickly finished a quest for Willie, got my prize ticket, and unfortunately, there was no star drop waiting for me, nor do I see one in my future. Despite this, I went over to the saloon and greeted Shane. He was just as friendly as ever, and I really did struggle to be the better person, opting to give him pizza instead of a beer. Even if my life is crumbling before my eyes, that does not mean I need to drag Shane down with me. No one will be surprised when I say Shane was still on his mean streak, but I don't feel like falling into his trap, so I bought him another pizza and hand-delivered it to him at work. Unlike that warm pizza, Shane's heart was stone cold, as we still remained at 1 heart. I feel like he's being unnecessarily hard to befriend. Have I not sacrificed enough already? He just wants to keep those blue chickens all to himself. Robin was still hard at work building my coop, but I guess our slow pace doesn't really matter since I still need a whopping 7 hearts with Shane before I can spend my remaining money on some blue chickens. Speaking of Shane, I just randomly bumped into him on his way to work, and look, we now have 2 hearts. I mean, yes, we've technically always had 2 hearts amongst ourselves, but now we have 2 hearts together. And you'd think now that I have the ability to snoop through his room and find incriminating evidence, he'd be nicer to me, but that would be expecting far too much. Shane, I expect better from you. The coop was finally ready, but Shane was not. Time is ticking, Shane. Get your act together. There's only so much I can do before this so-called friendship starts to feel extremely one-sided. At least I could be happy with the fact Shane was not as rude as usual. To be fair, he was still rude, but he was softening up, and I don't hate it. Since Marnie was actually working for once in her life, I went ahead and bought some hay for my future chicken children. 2 steps ahead. I am always 2 steps ahead. Because I just so happened to be in the area, I cleaned up Shane's room a little bit and contemplated waiting for him to come back, but I decided to continue snooping instead. He has a book on chickens, which is on brand. I wonder if that's where he learned to turn the chickens blue, or now that I think about it, he does live really close to the wizard, so maybe Mr. Wiz is the one behind it all. The world may never know. And just so you know, I leveled up enough to make the mayo machine. I'll never actually use one, but it does fill the air with all the chicken vibes. There's really no better way to greet the day than with Shane's optimism. Okay, that's a total lie. It actually made me quite depressed, so I wasted no time going back to bed. It's almost 1 week exactly until Shane's birthday, and I wish I could get my hands on some iridium peppers, but I would not be so lucky. I waited for hours for Shane to make an appearance at the saloon. I wanted to switch things up again to see if he'd at least be creative with his insults. And wow, Shane, the workday is over. Get over yourself. You're really testing my patience, Shane, because I'm feeling like you aren't exactly deserving of a birthday gift next week, sir. It's the egg festival, and I swear, if this day prevents me from talking to Shane and holding me back as a result, you bet I'm gonna burn Lewis's house to the ground. He is the mayor, so he is the one who must pay the price. At least when I talked to Shane, he was nice to me. Now that I think about it, maybe there should be a festival every day. Hopefully my win impressed Shane, even if I beat Jazz. I mean, I won fair and square. In any case, he should fear me, and then as a result of his fear, he should just start being nice to me. What a thought. And good, talking to him at the egg festival did count for a daily conversation. The festival must have fried my brain because I was patiently waiting outside for Shane to start his long trek to Georgia, and I realized he was off the clock. Which honestly begs the question, who even works on the weekends? And look, Shane's brain must also be fried because he actually said something that wasn't mean. I quickly scurried over to the saloon, bought him a pizza as a reward, and then hand-delivered said pizza to my boy Shane. He acted all surprised, so that just confirms to me that his brain is in fact mush. Maybe some water will rehydrate him. In the meantime, I worked on a quest for Willie, which would have given me a prize ticket if it didn't fall into the depths of the ocean. And as it turns out, the ocean wasn't the only thing blue that night, literally and figuratively. I think I understand why Shane is so pessimistic now. Okay, I will acknowledge my shortcomings. I could have just bought a stash of pizza for Shane. And okay, hold on a minute. How can he just say that to my face? I mean, he hardly knows me. Whose fault is that, Shane? Just give me the blue chickens and I'll gladly be on my way. I forked over the cash for a pizza and we've just hit 3-heart territory. 3 down, 5 more to go. I just so happened to get a recipe for one of Shane's favorite meals. Subtle, real subtle there, Shane. I passed by my very sad coop. All it wants is to be a home for some blue chickens, but instead it's just out here collecting dust and cobwebs. Not even the witch will pay a visit because it's in such a sad state. Speaking of sad states, Shane is certified thirsty, and yeah, he's definitely an alcoholic. Me when Shane is rude to me. Look at me, I found the Shane coded catalog in the trash. This just cements the fact the blue chickens are my destiny in life. I finally stocked up on pizza, so I'll be able to gift Shane at a moment's notice. I waited for Shane, and let me tell you, the wait was not worth it. I swear the wiki, and yes, I did cave in and check the wiki, says this man gets nicer with the more hearts. But I beg to differ. It's like if you were given the option to sleep on nails or rocks. Yeah, I guess one is better, but they're both still uncomfortable. Maybe instead of stocking up on pizza, I should have stocked up on beer just to spite him. I'm not saying I'll do it, but it is just a thought. Let me rant for a second. Shane told me off at 6 p.m. for not working, but when I triggered this cutscene at 8 p.m., he's all like, "You're up late." Which one is it, Shane? Shane, please put down the beer. You've got chickens to tend to. Just as I thought things were looking good, Shane told me to leave him alone. Well, for your information, Shane, I likely, quite literally, can't speak to you again today, so you're welcome for that. And side note, I mean, I hate to ask, but my guy Linus, what exactly are you doing here? Serious question. Do you think Shane thinks I'm stalking him? I mean, it's perfectly normal to wait outside his house for him to leave almost every day, right? He is still mean to me, so I think my so-called stalking, if you can call it that, is probably the least of his worries. The day has finally come. It's Shane's day of birth, but I'm thinking he does not exactly deserve a gift. Me, on the other hand, I deserve blue chickens, so I persisted. Oh, so he's been purposefully being mean. I feel like that just makes it worse than being accidentally mean. He's really testing me because that's just straight up rude, but it's his birthday, so I guess I can't get mad. But honestly, good thing I did not listen to my intuition because we have 6 hearts together. And yeah, that's mildly depressing, Shane. Look, he's being nice. He's trying. I know I've said multiple and countless times I've thought about giving him a beer just to spite him, but I think from this cutscene, it's clear, it's good I did not go down that path, and my suspicions were confirmed. Stardew does need a resident therapist. Harvey, time to go back to school and get some psych experience. To top off the day, a Stardrop tea is in sight. Blue chickens are getting closer and closer. I can almost taste them. So here's the tea. Apparently, Shane has a beer belly. I swear, he always says the weirdest things. Maybe this is the reason he's so closed off in the beginning. Lost in all the excitement, I forgot to give him his pizza, so I had to come back and look. He's not staring at the microwave. Progress. But you'd think after giving him so much pizza, he'd realize I don't have the brain of a goldfish and can remember what he likes. He must think so little of me. I fear this man has never had a positive thought enter his brain. Maybe it's not only fried from the microwaves, but from the beer as well. And look, we're at 7 hearts. I have a feeling I won't be needing that Stardrop tea. Not that I'm complaining, because I don't think there would be one in my near future anyway. I've been gaining hearts so fast with Shane's birthday that I haven't been able to trigger the 6 heart event, which wouldn't be a big deal if I didn't need that heart event to then be able to trigger the blue chicken scene. Shane sent me the strange bun recipe, and as a strange guy, a recipe had never been so fitting. Alert the press! Shane was optimistic for once. Good thing I caught this rare moment of optimism on this recording, otherwise you certainly never would have believed me. It's the day of the flower dance, but before I can ignore everyone but Shane at the event, I went to check on my coop. I can just feel it in the air. The blue chickens are near. As you could imagine, Shane was just over the moon at the idea of dancing the night away with me. But he's gonna have to struggle through it. I mean, I am part duck chicken with a dash of failed experiment, so my feet aren't exactly meant for dancing. And I think Shane should be grateful I asked him to dance in the first place. Okay, maybe I should be more grateful because all the dancing paid off. We've got 8 hearts. Now I just need to trigger some cutscenes and those blue chickens will be mine. Respectfully, Pierre, shut up. This is not about me and Shane. It's about me and the blue chickens. With a false sense of hope, I patiently waited at Shane's to trigger some kind of cutscene. I guess you heard it here. It's confirmed. Shane is a Katy Perry fan. And I got caught up in the excitement, so I didn't even know what I told him in this cutscene. But at this point, it doesn't really matter because once I get my blue chickens, this man will never hear from me again. But since I don't have the blue chickens, I decided to force the information out of Shane, only he never came back home for the night. I'm starting to think part of the reason he's so depressed is because he literally gets no sleep. Since it wasn't raining, I couldn't trigger the cutscene I needed, so I did the sensible thing and went straight to bed. No more gifts or conversations for Shane from now on. Let's be honest, there's no way I can ever really give him a beer after that, right? I mean, of course, if I start over, technically I'm not supposed to know Shane's entire backstory. It wouldn't be as bad, right? Right? Tell me I'm right. Okay, Harvey, you're a scam artist. Not that Shane is doing any better. He says he likes drinking sparkling water and like, more power to you, but I almost prefer he drink beer over sparkling water. Is that just a me thing? Finally, it's the time I have been waiting for. It's chicken time. Blue chicken time to be more exact. Side note, I didn't know Joja sold eggs, but I am kind of here for the Joja slander from Shane. Immediately after I exited the cutscene, I rushed over to buy me some blue chickens and my heart stopped for a moment. I thought maybe Shane had scammed me, but I eventually was able to buy a blue chicken. Well, 4 of them to be exact. Look how cute they are. And wow, they truly do grow up so fast. Thank you so much for watching. This was so fun to play through. I've really been enjoying playing Stardew a little bit differently than normal. I feel like I'm always so focused on the community center and then Ginger Island, but there's so many things to do early on if you just throw some caution to the wind and forget all about the community. With that, stay tuned for similar videos in the future. Subscribe if you like. Bye!